G'day punters, here we are. I'm glad to say I'm back. It's been a few weeks since I've been in the chair. I'm surrounded by some very great people, Nick Heathcote and possibly Jack Dickens. But,
great people.
Great
that
people.
was definitely not the sort of descriptive words you're using to describe me at lunch.
Have you been in the paddock, Wish? Is that we been, or?
Yeah, just been adjusted. Just adjusted, coming back for a little bit of probably just a run to top me off, go back out the paddock, come good for spring, fire right up.
You've been on different media platforms recently,
No,
racing.com.
hold on 2 seconds.
Thanks for coming back to this online broadcast. How's it been?
supporting
Has everyone been ringing you since you've gone on the big screen?
Just hold on for 2 seconds. We are looking at headquarters, July 20, which is this Saturday. We can discuss that later in the show.
It's all business.
We're all business here. Let's get this underway. Look, short show's a good show. Great sponsors here. Punting Form.
Puntingform.com.au.
Beat Fair.
Puntingform.com.au. We use, all three of us are using it. Even Walshy, who sometimes you could accuse him of being stuck in the Stone Ages, has come forward, embraced technology, and you're now using Punting Form.
Shane Baker, fantastic.
And it's starting to help you a little bit.
It's there is a lot of aspects which has made me more efficient in the way I'm doing things, and it definitely has helped.
The benchmarking for one example is crucial. Like, it's just a valuable asset when they start getting good horses coming back against sort of well-performing horses, which we've got this weekend.
Everyone uses it differently, but it's great for me, just the breakdown of the sectional times, last 200s, last 400s.
Goat Lager, our favourite beer, who have been getting me through the last sort of 6 to 8 months. I love them. And betfair.com.au, if you're not betting there, you just got rocks in your head.
It's just an essential means
10 o'clock
to bet.
on Wednesday, 135% market, which is basically the same odds across the board, which we're going to talk about maybe later on.
Yep.
As opposed to 107%, 106% Betfair.
On the death. Yeah.
Like, unless you've got a huge edge, it's just Betfair every day of the week. .com.
Or on course.
Or on course. But
Come see the Wish for a couple of rolls.
Maybe not me on course, but the blokes around me between you can pick and choose, but there will be.
You took someone last Saturday, Jungle Edge, Organza.
Yeah.
You were bigger than Betfair there. Like, when you want to take one on, you will.
Well, got to.
Yeah.
I've got to eat. The cat's got to be fed. I've got an angry missus at home that needs wine and chocolate and stuff like that. There's just stuff like that needs to be done.
How is your cat?
Oh, cats went to the vet today. Yeah.
What's happening there?
Tune in for this, punters. Turn the volume up.
They said it might have a small dose of the cat flu or cat chlamydia. We're not entirely sure.
She's been sniffing around while she's laundry.
It said he actually, Tom Cat, who's got
Oh, Tommy!
He's a beautiful. But anyway, the actual vet said do they sit on the ducted heating? I'm like, well, I wasn't there, I was working. But Taryn said, yeah, of course they sit on. Yeah, she said, oh, it could have been. Apparently, cat chlamydia and cat flu is not like the mainstream pub variety we get as an adult human being. But anyway,
hang on for a second. Let's pause for us, because I'm sure, like myself and most of our audience, not that educated in this area, so we'll pass over to an expert.
Yes, wait. Hey, Mickey Mouse, you know what penicillin is?
Yeah, it's the original antibiotic.
Yeah, sweet. We'll just give the cat some of that. A bit like you when you got a few issues downstairs, when you're a bit sniffly. You're a bit sniffly downstairs from your Mr. Snuffleupagus, you get a bit of penicillin in your Mickey Mouse. So the cats will be sweet, we're sweet, we've just got to keep backing winners and keep surviving.
Anything else you want to add as the host of today's show?
Right. Well,
Racing.com now is the host, guys, but we're happy about it.
We're hosting here because they had to take over. Now, the card, I think the punters want a short, sharp show. Nick, you've done in-depth analysis of races 1 to 5. Is there anything they want to back in the first few?
Righto.
Race
I'll just zip through them.
Just the rails out 4.
Yep.
We expect a soft 6.
Yeah, there's bits and pieces of rain, but everyone knows that Flemington
probably
should hold up.
It drains.
Sandown and Flemington, probably the fairest tracks in Victoria.
Yep. Edge off.
Tempo dictates bias or pattern.
Yeah. I thought so. We'll zip through them quickly. The 2,000 metre handicap race 1. It's an interesting race. Masculino will go forward. I think the robots will try and find it. Pakadali looks like it's going to get a nice run in behind them. Karzov looked the one to me. I think it looks good with Blake McDougall and the 2 kilo claim. I think 2,000 metres is now a plus for it. And Flemington's going to be a lot more suitable for it. I thought it wasn't strong enough through the line on the video, sometimes that can trip you up. But looking at, I guess, the benchmark data at puntingform.com.au, there's enough there to suggest that it can improve significantly. And this looks like a target race for that horse. The joker in the pack that I often refer to is a horse called Jack Regan from Great Britain. It's been dead twice. It now steps up to 2,000 metres, and Peachy Meachy jumps on board. So I thought that was a danger. We'll skip through to race 2, which is a benchmark 78, 1,200 metre race. I thought French Girl's the interesting runner here. It went to Morfordfield, which looks like a trial to me from the Clinton McDonald yard. I would have rathered Oliver on in terms of the jockey. There's someone else.
Of course, you'd rather Oliver on. I mean,
well, Michael Walker's on, but I just think that I really prick my ears when Clinton puts like Oliver on, and maybe it's more of a provincial thing, but I think it's the query runner in the race. But I thought it's D-Day for a horse called I'm Telling Ya. Amy Johnson and Ash Yagi. It's dropping back from listed to benchmark 78, which is probably its race. I don't think there's much else in the race. You saw how much they got stuck in the Malibu style last start, and it's either now or never. A lot of people have probably spec'd that horse at $26, and even though you see sort of $6.50 pop up, it might drift to $11, but make sure it doesn't go around at loser.
Which was that?
I'm yelling ya.
Telling ya.
Telling ya.
I thought more wanted maybe each way, but it's a low race.
Come, they're bad races. Let's get through them.
Okay, quick one. I'll race 3. I'll keep going.
Yeah.
Race 3, 2-year-old 1,800 metre races. You don't get much of these. It looks like a tough race. There's a few horses that set up okay for this. There's a horse here, Huntley Castle, that I think Jack was pretty keen on.
I find it hard, Scoot, because we obviously got a stack out of it. The movers.
Yeah, the movers have been fine.
We're back to the sort of, I think $8 was our starting price. It's pitched in there at Bendigo. Now we're taking sort of shorter than that, Flemington. I think it's probably the one to find, but it's a hard race to sort of get interested in. What do you think?
Yeah, like I can remember that. I remember the bet, and the movers are flying at the moment. I thought it was the horse that's probably likely to sit, forward to midfield. I'd like to Dutch that one. I think there's been some early spec in the market for it. I think it'll drift a little bit, and I don't think that's going to worry me. I want to play it. And there's another horse that ran on the same day in a slower race, and it was called Farlingay. Michael Walker's jumped on that as well. It finished off really strongly. I think it's by Carlton House that the Queen used to race. It looks just like a natural stayer to my eye. 1,800 metres here, albeit second up. I think this looks like a target race for it. I think Jonathan calls them the plastics. The corporates have gone up sort of $16 into $14. I still think $14 is a reasonable price. I can just sort of picture myself waking up on Saturday morning and thinking this horse is going to go off closer to $9. That's from the Cummings chart.
The map scares me with M. Walker from 9.
It's 1,800 metres at Flemington.
I think it's got to be back second last, third last. Bruno blinkers on from 8, probably rolls further forward. Another ex-mover who was huge for us on the synthetic.
With these type of races, believe it or not, this is where this imbecile to my right-hand side comes into his own.
Who is he?
This imbecile on my right-hand side. Because, I mean, he can pick...
He might be getting cut off the fucking...
He can pick the horses. Like, you're going to be able to find what's fit, what maps well, way you go. So, pay the subscription, which is going to be bugger all, and start launching.
Big day yesterday.
Yeah. Something for the battlers, Dicko.
Which is ironic with a horse Scoots talking about bred by the Queen now, by the Sheik.
Well, hey, but Drew's not here. Someone has to take his place to pump up the tyres of those blue jackets.
If you jump onto racing.com and skip the videos of Jonathan and have a look at the replay of this horse, watch how the rider restricts it from the gates, and you'll see it finish home pretty strongly. And it was a horse, I think Jabarth beat it, and it was a horse that
Jabarth's got ability,
another movers bet, and you sort of identified that.
$13 less deductions, starting $2.60 or something.
Right, Jabarth, Huntley Castle was 6s.
I think it's going to be an
Huntley
okay
Castle was 6s and firm.
Yeah.
No deduction. And Jabarth was 12s. We took 13, started 8s.
No, it started $2.60 or something.
Yeah, but we had an $8 ticket.
Yeah, correct. Right,
so I'd probably Dutch that race, Huntley Castle and that Farlingay. Race 4 is the benchmark 90, 2,500 metres.
Can anything beat Lord Belvedere, who's gelded, Ben Melamont, Liam Gallagher of Victorian Racing, Mr. Glide Wrap himself? Great man.
I probably don't think so. I just don't think there's any horse that's got a setup like Lord Belvedere here. Like
Station was sort of slaughtered last time.
Map only concern for me, Lord Belvedere, likely to be in the numbers mounting out male.
But I think High Bridge as a class animal, I think it'll drift severely first up. It was just set a really big task, Lord Belvedere. The asterisk around that is I want to watch the market. If this horse shortens in the market or stays around the 6 to 4, $2.50 range, that means to me that 1,800 to 2,500 isn't going to be a worry, because the 35-day between starts, is it a clean-winded horse? We don't know enough about it, but if it's firm in the market, I want to be on it. If it starts to get to sort of 350, well out of the market, nearly 3 to 1, I don't know that I want to touch that. So I'd be betting late, but the big tick here is Ben Millom. Like, he rode Outdoor Retreat the other day. He rode another horse, Paris, during the week at Cranbourne. Like, he just doesn't panic. He's just a great jockey to have.
Last up, Flemington, your horse, not a single cent.
Yeah,
got that done.
Yeah. So yeah, he's on fire as well. So I think it's his to lose really. And to be honest, I think barrier 12's a positive. He's out of traffic. The only query is stepping up from 1,800 to 2,500. He needs to be clean-winded. He needs to be fitter off that 35 days because he doesn't have an
35 days is the big query for me.
Well, it's not if you're a European horse. That's the
and
thing.
he is.
And he is.
But
So
it's sort of. But if there's an alarming drift, stay off. But if he's hard in the market, I want to be on.
Right, race 5, pretty limited race. Special Diva backs up on top from the yard last week and no units. Frustration. We both got a little bit out of it, but
I got a bit out of it. I had it on top in any market, so I doubled my bet. But that was left on the cutting room floor, wasn't it?
Yeah, see that, punters? If you go back and watch the racing.com little cutout, didn't mention me once. Anyway,
I did say that I had a fellow in the mountain yard found it, so I doubled my bet and won a bit of money off it. That was.
Does anyone want to bet here? I don't.
Yeah, this looks really tricky.
Why would you want to bet in the mare's 1,400 metre race at Flemington?
So yeah, benchmark 90, 1,400. I thought the query runner was Shady Hustle at big odds. Harry Grace claimed 3 kilos doesn't entice me, but it's only got 51. Sometimes those claims work well in the off season. I thought the chances were probably gongs for this grade. Miss Mandito, no knock hit, the Kiwi, Fragengard and El Questro, the other chances. But as Jack sort of alluded to now, you're looking at a race with about 141% or 135%, and nearly everyone's the same price. And this is, we'll talk about it quickly, and I'll elaborate maybe next show.
Let's touch that on the end because there's a viewer question. We'll go back to
we'll talk about that later. But there's so much fat on the board here, you wouldn't want to play. And it's a race that I think there's about 5 chances.
Well, I'd slightly disagree in terms of the way we measure fat, which we'll talk about later on, which is going to be
we'll discuss that
beneficial.
I wouldn't challenge you.
You're a bigger fan of fat than anyone, and you're more of an expert.
You even told me how to skim the fat off my peanut soup.
Exactly, mate.
There's
multi-talented.
Race 6,
right, quaddy leagues.
Over the mile.
We'll dedicate this one to Ross Brody and Alan Brody. The quaddy leagues. The quaddy leagues, they love them.
They hate them?
No, they love them. Tigsy, Ross.
Alright, we're going to do these ones properly. Killer Valley, $3.50. Pesos, who was a first start mover bet at Kyneton, who at $6.50 is now $4.20 here. Backs up from Sydney. Twilight Run, $6. How low can you go? $8.50. Titan Blinders, $11. Longer the rest. Speed Map Punters, I thought, do you reckon could roll forward with a Pactulate, Prince, Helmaz, Tippity Witch somewhere there. Kill Valley will get a really nice run from 7 with Craig on. Titan Blinders somewhere back to fence. Spartan Flame will follow the favourite. Face Sauce, I don't like the map at all, so it'll be back and wide. Phone Me from 17 will be snicked. How low can you go from 3? I think will be somewhere near about the favourite and Spartan Flame, and if strong enough late, if the race sets up perfectly, will be the one that's coming home strong. Kill Valley clocked the fastest last 4 and 2 in the meeting on debut at Ballarat. It wasn't on the synthetic. Meach gets off and Craig gets on. The horse is under a hold. Basically let go, killed him. This is a big step up. But Craig identifying the horse and wanting to get on the horse is another tick, as well as the data.
So what are you tipping?
I think Kill Valley will win. I'm not going to lose on how low can you go. I'm big watch Spartan Flame. I think there's a roughie here, number 16. Do you reckon? drawn 11. Darman, no, not Darman.
Steph Thornton.
Yeah, Steph Thornton from 11. Like, she's out of form, but she's got ability. This ride is her sort of ride. Roll forward from a wide draw, find the bunny. I think you've got sneaky sort of form lines. Moscow Red form lines, which Moscow Red shit in yesterday at Cranbourne.
Yeah, who trains Moscow Red?
Henry Dwyer.
Yeah, you can't write that down.
The horse won, though, and it won really
Well, you
impressively.
can't.
You can tie it back to, do you reckon? The horse is massive odds, and it shouldn't be a
His
loser.
horses don't hold form.
If you're watching the show, don't make do you reckon a loser.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's huge odds.
Jay Sandow at Cranbourne, I think he's. It's a fella.
Anything else race 62?
I know.
Yeah, I'm into this. I think Killer Valley is a spruik horse and he's under the odds at the moment. It's one on the synthetic.
What do you think about synthetic horses going to
It's the biggest.
going to game day? Grass 1600
It's
Flemington.
the biggest step up.
Big time.
Yeah, and when you talk about the punting form data, it didn't have two negatives. It was positive and then negative or whatever else. It wasn't a minus.
Negative. Sorry, yeah, positive, negative. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't a -8 run. It was a minus overall run 2 or 3.
We won by 5 lengths, so
Yeah, but it was
well,
with.
this is a great conversation. So when they win by 5 lengths, the data's largely irrelevant.
But it was whipped. It wasn't hard held to the
It's
line.
given 3 across the task and won by
Yeah.
5 lengths.
But it was a maiden.
Like,
It was a
what
low
more could
maiden.
it do?
But it was a low maiden, is what I'm saying.
Yes, but
What would have happened if it wasn't whipped? Would it won by 1 or
no.
won by 3?
Is it a movers bet? No.
No.
I'm not betting it.
I
I want
think
to see
it's-
a parade, I want to see them all parade, right? But it couldn't have done more than it did.
What odds is it currently with the +6?
360, I think.
Yeah.
With no scratchings, I'll be putting it in for something at 360. It is under the odds. This
Yeah.
is an acid test.
I'm not betting now, but it is definitely my top selection and likely the one I find in the yard.
How-
What I'm looking for.
Hey, how can you compare this though, right? Killer Valley's won by 8 in a maiden. Titan Blinders off Barrier 1, which will get an easy enough lead or near the front, is won by 4.5 in a 0 to 70. Same track.
Baxter and Corstons
But what I'm trying to say is,
versus Craig Williams and Mark.
I'm not saying
I'm with Wishy here.
it's on the wrong. I think it's too short. It could come out in brain and you go, oh, it's a group horse. But on the information available, I'm happy to lay it for
I
something.
marked Titan Blinders $40.
I thought
Listen,
this
so
track.
Titan Blinders has got beaten by 1.3 a few starts ago to a horse called Fidelia, who they've put away for spring.
How was it ridden when it won?
What lead?
Yeah. Do you anticipate it going anywhere near the lead
Who?
here?
Titan Blinders?
Got Barrier 1. Where is it?
Has to
It was
be
one
one
fucking lead. The stables are neck with tactics.
box.
No.
What are you betting that it won't lead?
That'll be in the first 4.
No. Lead.
Well, fuck, I'll have a box
If it
anyway. I like gambling.
if it doesn't, no. Box is box C.
All right, no, I'll back that it leads.
One
He's
lead,
betting you a
yeah.
box of
Box.
bigs.
You owe me a box anyway.
I hope
Yeah.
Stevie Bassett digs the Spurs into going.
Go on, lad. Go
So
on,
do I,
lad.
but Stevie's my
Anyway,
Spurs
and
in Spain.
the other one in the race,
Aperol Spritzers.
which is the big query, or not a query, Kevin Coltson's horses have been going super. This was a good run against the bias Twilight run last start, and it's one I'll be keeping my foot on.
Oh, that's I forgot that horse.
And the toppy, if it drew a better barrier, I would be with Phaetos if it drew.
Do you not think on Wednesday I sort of try and have a look at these through the card while I'm in Cranbourne because you got to because that's the best time to bet.
Yeah.
Like we're going to talk about later on.
Well, there's bet
Right.
for SP, and then we'll talk about the
Best time to bet if you find one that you want to bet
Yeah,
before
you
you
want
get
to
there,
punch
right?
into it.
Yeah.
The 3 I found. How low can you go? Twilight Run and the favourite. Twilight Run is pretty short for what it's doing. It's doing something pretty similar to what the favourite's doing.
No, it's not, because it's coming out of 135 grand 3-year-old handicap against a 35 grand 2-year-old maiden on the synthetic on a off meeting. The classes don't match up for mine.
I'll just have, I did a lot of the bullocking work early on the show, so I feel like I have to say something.
You don't have to say anything.
I think Titan Blinders has got the one alley. I think they'll use it. It looks like a one-dimensional horse to me. I'm really keen on Spartan Flame. I can't believe it's $34. I've barely looked at the market. It's on the 7-day back.
It got to a line real nice last week.
It was super at Caulfield last start.
Couldn't have done it any better than it did.
And I just think, have a look at the way the horse strides, and it just looks like a real scopy animal that will appreciate Flemington. I could be horribly wrong, but for me, it screams Flemington more so than Caulfield. Looks like a great price. I don't know. I don't know how closely you guys follow Sydney racing, but if you go back to the tapes, it reminded me of Hong Kong racing. This ride, Hugh Bowman rode Face-Off's last start against Cinque Dea at Sydney, and it was Blake Shin who's just tore them apart in the Winter Carnival at Brisbane. Blake's on Cinque Dea because I remember being on Cinque Dea. Face-Off is in his inside.
I think Rob was on.
Went outside it.
Yeah. So Shinny's on his outside. Face-Off is inside of it. Shinny's got Bowman in a pocket.
Yeah.
Any other jockey would have kept pushing out to try and get out, and Shin's not going to let you out of that pocket. And that's how they ride Hong Kong. You watch enough of Hong Kong, they ride tight, right? And so next thing you know, Cinque Dea waits. Huey's gone inside because he's like, all right, this is going to cat and mouse, bit of fox. Cinque Dea is off and gone, and then Face-Off's Bowman goes inside. Blake's horse lays in the whole way, and then he actually comes back out.
Over his heels.
Yeah, over his heels.
It
It was a monster run.
Yeah.
And if you've got a horse like Killavale, who's brained him by 8 lengths at the Syntho, I'm telling you, Face-Offs, Titan Blinders will beat that horse home, and Spartan Flame will nearly beat that horse home. I'd nearly back the 3 horses to beat your horse home. I don't. We'll have to figure out what price it is, but there's just no way. Like, horses just don't win like that. But if you just go back and look at your tapes and people that are trying to learn how to do the form, start to look at how jockeys ride races. But that's why Bowman's so good, and that's why Shin's so good. Shin wasn't going to give him an inch, and then Bowman has gone, okay, I'm going to have to outfox him here. But then Blake's made life so hard for Bowman there, and then he's sort of weaved his way through. But this horse was good enough to sort of pick himself up. But just the tactical genius of both of the riders is the point I'm trying to make here.
So why is
it's great to watch.
Why is Face-Offs coming from a really impressive win at Sydney, going that way to here?
Well, maybe they might think it's a spring horse and they want to give it a run the Melbourne way, and it's a perfect opportunity.
The prize money's up there, the sheep holes.
That's a great point that Jonathan's going to make, and that ties into a horse later in the card. There's a horse going. I think there's a mare down from Sydney that I think they're just giving her a squirt up the straight. And I think
there's only one thing you can beat.
It's not. They're not trying.
Right.
It's a barrier trial.
Yeah.
See if she handles it straight. Anyway, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that now.
How low can you go? There's also T Hope off Ben Melamont.
It is, but it only won 0 to 70.
Righto, race 7.
Yeah, we sort of spoke about.
Market is as follows. We've got Sylvia's Mother, $2.50. Godolphin, $6. My Pendant, $7.50. Pinion, $7. Tell Me, 13s. Merla, 17s, along with the rest. Speed map looks like this. There you are. Colonel, Newsgirl, Turak, Smock, and Rob to Fate have a good amount of speed. Then Deploys Alone, Tell Me, Godolphin, Renaissance, and Merlis. The rest further back. I think the favourite here is extremely vulnerable, and I could never dream of betting. Never seen the straight.
Jesus.
Dodgy. Like, this is a barrier trial to see if she likes the straight. I reckon if she's got ability for later on. She wins, so be it. I'll be looking to bet around her, not necessarily lay her until I see her parade. But
I looked at this race and I went over and over and over. Sylvia's Mother started at $1.50, but I'm not into SP profiles.
So why would you bring it up then?
Because
if you're not into it.
Because then it trialled at Hawkesbury.
A Hawkesbury trial.
Which you may not have
it was either Newcastle or Hawkesbury, but fuck
it was Hawkesbury, I believe. Now, if Michael Poy gets his horse beat, he should not be allowed back in the course at Flemington ever.
Just to clarify for the punters at home, Walshy confirmed you're tipping a employee $2.50 favourite.
I just said this horse has got length on the rest of the field. It's by Snitzel. It should handle a bit of give out of the ground. It's drawn barrier 15, which would be beneficial up the straight. It's had a run, and then it's had a trial after the run. If this thing travels, if it's travelled well, it should be winning.
I'll be laying it so hard if I could find something, one or two to beat it, but I can't.
I've found horses to beat it, but
Pinion was the only other one that I thought was lucky, and it's 1 week back up through barrier.
Pinion was heavily back last week.
There's been,
and my pendant's a query as well.
Yeah.
But
I've said it a lot of times, Jonathan. I respect your opinion on 1200 metre races. I think they're your forte. Remember,
But he's sort of saying he doesn't-
remember you back Redcoat Warrior and I was on Merchant Navy and you got me that day? It was
Terra
not a
Vista
single
and
cent line.
Terra Vista at $15.
Yeah,
the
you
Cleveland
just
base.
keep,
Oh, sorry,
you just keep getting it done. And I think Jack's not seen the trial. Sylvie's mother, you look at that trial. She looks.
Well, I'll wait for the
she,
trial.
she knocked
report
around.
from-
She knocked around a couple of.
You don't need a trial report
You
on
don't get a
Washington.
trial report out of New South Wales, but this horse.
No,
Mate,
Nico Noonan
Nico
will
Noonan.
trial.
Will it? Oh,
No, no, I've watched it. You've watched it.
Yeah, it's push button that. It just went. They just went. The jockey just went bang, and this horse just looks like electric push button start. It looks like, you know, a NOS in I think it's called NOS.
Yeah,
in
no,
car.
fair.
Fast and Furious.
Okay, would you call the Hawk Stable grand final trainers?
I'll tell you
Well,
what's
they're
going to
Group
happen
1
here.
trainers.
Are they grand final trainers?
Yeah.
Is this a grand final?
No, but this is
This wins on ability.
Oh.
Yeah, I think ability alone. It's SP to $1.50. It's back to fillies from open grade. That form sort of stuck.
The only thing you can get a beat is Employ finds asses and run.
Yeah.
Because look, he's an apprentice. He's improved out of sight from where he
You can
was.
just see. Is it the MSS security plate or?
MS Donny.
Or what's the Thursday race for fillies
Yeah.
up the straight
Yeah.
that the thing of prices usually wins? This is it just screams that this horse is just going to come out and win the 1100 metre race on Thursday.
That's a real
on Oaks Day.
sickness, like admittance there.
What?
How you know that stuff?
Well, no, there's that.
That's good.
Was that
I know, good.
secret advantage or secret agent
Secret
or whatever
agenda.
it was?
You see, but the rest of these horses aren't.
Jonathan,
group
anything
horses.
else?
No.
Yeah, well, Sylvie's mother clearly on top from Pinion in my opinion.
Race 8 Connors over 1600 metres. Reykjavik.
The Icelandic horse.
Yeah, the Scandinavian number.
Mhm.
$3.50. New Universe 5s, Organza 5s, Travel My Friend $9, Our Galileo $12, Guizo 14s, Holbein 13s, longer the rest. I thought the speed would look a little bit like this. Holbein probably leads, Kentucky Breeze somewhere near it. The favourite sort of finds the fence, I think. Naval Warfare, Travel My Friend and Tristano have some speed. Wiener from 10 gets Linda and Blinkers. Grow up, Jonathan, you're 40 years old, start trying to act it.
Not fully.
Gets Blinkers and Linda, it might cross and lead them. Radar pole, don't know what it does, it never knows. The rest further back. Organza has dominant SPs over New Universe, so I find it really hard to tip New Universe to beat Organza, although the data sort of says it might. You can't knock this favourite. Linda getting off, I don't think it's a tick, but Yendel's confident and this is the right sort of ride for him. He's going to need to push out at some point and he's the sort of ride to do that. I think the favourite will win. I think Organza is really, really likely, and I think there's a massive roughie here, and that's Winner, number 11. It was ridden upside down last start, not suited at all. This start, blinkers on, Linda on, drawn 10. She can do what she wants from there. If it's on pace suited, she can roll forward. If it's not, she can roll back. Winner is a really, really big price here.
Yeah, look, I went over and over. Like, you know, it pained me to tip Sylvia's mother. Like, it's not my normal process. So I've gone through this race and done the same thing, but all roads lead to the Icelandic Warrior, this Reykjavik. The jockey change is not an issue at all. We all know where this L. Smith has taken over from, and they've put on the old stable jockey, so I don't think that's a worry at all. It could not have been much more impressive in the Winter Championships, which is a better race. I really thought this was a clear top pick, and 5 to 2 in the olds, not bad odds. I think Guizo might be a little bit of overs. And then look, I'm happy to lay New Universe, Organza, Trevor, my friend. Holbein will probably lead. The blowout chance is Kentucky Breeze, for no other reason than I've been with this horse and thought it had ability, but clearly the favourite on top for mine.
I wouldn't think you'd lay Organza.
Yeah, I'm happy to lay Organza.
Barrier one,
and especially for another box. If you want another box on that, I'll bet another box.
Well, what's the bet?
It's nearly late the day. I thought, agree, Reykjavik, the Icelandic Warrior is.
What's the bet though, Organza?
What? I just want to lay it to you. It won't win.
No, yeah, but it's
Well, how many boxes do you want?
$6
Oh,
chance.
fucking whatever. You have
5 to 1. 5 to 1.
It's not going to fucking win.
Doesn't matter what odds it is if they don't win.
Okay, so to keep the show under an hour, I'll keep talking. Naval Warfare and Kentucky Breeze are the best roughies. Guizo off the slight freshen is... They just know, like, this horse is a miler,
It's
a bit of a freshen. It's just going to hit the same rating pretty much every time. The horse that can spike a rating, but maybe one run away, is Radipole.
Is Christmas ever going to come with this? How long's it been between?
That was the other horse that sort of...
I'm a Radipole man, but like, fuck me, 748 days.
Yeah, because this Dicko has 4 beers and it's like, yeah, fuck them all.
748 days.
Yeah.
What? Radipole.
Doesn't matter. It's all about how it sets up for this race, mate.
It's a horse.
I don't give a
Walshy's
fuck.
exercise horse.
No, I haven't. I've done more hamstrings.
I thought you were going to say
I've
something.
had more hamstring injuries than wins.
I thought you were going to say
I
something.
started there and I started saying PG.
So basically, we're in a little
All
bit of
games looks
agreement.
good, lad.
I'll
We're
take
the favourite.
I'll take $4, like 4 cases to 1. Organza to win.
Bet. Do you want to? You got it twice here.
Twice.
Yes.
I think the favourite will win punters. That's just because I want
He's
to.
taking 4 to 1. He's taking $5.
Yeah, fuck. I couldn't give a
Yeah,
fuck.
right. Race 9, Dicko, read him out, mate.
Race 9 punters. The market looks a little bit like this. Usain Bolt heavily backed in the $3.70. Crack the Code $3.90. Wagner $4.80. All over Boston over 10s. Mr. Moneybags 12s. Brazado 14s. Longer the rest. Speed map I thought would be a little bit like this. Parwan Prince has got speed. Tony Nacconi's a beast and loves to be on pace. It'll be somewhere near it. Rocket Tommy's got speed, but I think he might get the shoes back on.
No,
Doesn't?
apparently not.
Brazado might. One of them does. Aloof, speed. All over Boston over speed. Wagner, Feared Eyes, Crack the Code, Mr. Moneybags. That's sort of next line. Queen Annabelle somewhere thereabouts. Usain Bowler and the rest of them bring up the rear. I think Usain Bowler is a pretty nice horse. I think it's better than these. I think Crack the Code is a false favourite. It's almost already not favourite. I think Usain Bolt will start sort of $2.80, $2.90, and he'll be winning.
I'm going to have a very quiet afternoon because once again I went through it all. If there was any money for Usain Bolt, we knew it was right. There's been the money.
The only chink is Craig Newitt.
It'll probably drift back out again.
I agree.
Because a couple of the owners are decent bet, like they have a decent throw at stumps, which is not much to turn off on a Wednesday or Thursday. Usain Bolt, when it ran down the straight and brained, or didn't mastering, yeah, which is in the guide. Look, it's off. Look, it's the one. It's the one for me. It's running the Oakley Plate in Newmarket. The rest of these horses aren't that quality. Rocket Tommy has one down the straight before, did win at Swan Hill. God bless its non-bar plated shoes on that meeting.
Are you laying Crack the Code?
Yep. Lockie King, young bloke, a 3-year-old filly in open class against Colton Goings down the straight. First up, there's two.
Being nommed and sort of like, I'm not sure what's going on here.
But yeah, Rocket Tommy's a blow at what, $26, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Usain Bolt. Look, it might be. I won't be doing much the last couple of races, but look at it in terms of lane favourites. Yep.
If Usain Bolt had Ben Mellum on it, and if there's some kind of like late jockey change, it'll be a fucking house job.
I think
The jockey scares me a bit.
it looks a bomb fresh horse with mine into like bomb fresh horse Usain Bowler. I was actually surprised that the market had it so short. It'll drift, no doubt, from $4 that's on the boards now. I thought Wagner had some chance.
Is it a 1,000 metre horse though?
It doesn't matter. Like down the straight, I think down the straight's a different proposition. So
Okay.
there's a couple of tricks to that, and I also thought that you get a horse like Linda Meach on Prezado, Ben Allen on All Over Bossa Nova. They're the sort of riders that might just hoodwink this, and if Usain Bolt is off its game, they're the ones that sort of bob up and you want to throw in your quaddie. But
Mr. Moneybags will savage the line.
well, yeah, he's
Yeah.
good. He's good. Like
Yeah.
I sort of went looking for Mr. Moneybags a little bit, but I think maybe not
Charlie
about.
Sheen.
I think it wants 1100 or 1200.
That horse may as well be owned by Charlie Sheen. It fucking loves it. It's always putting the writing on the wall. Hoof on the till.
Yeah. So what do we do now?
Righto. So
Best back lay.
best bet. I'm going to go with Sylvia's mother just to serve to go up.
Play of the day is Sylvia's mother for me.
Yeah, and if I was going to do the, here you go, here's one for you. Here's the roughie of the day.
My best bet is race 9, number 11, Usain Bolt.
Here's a roughie of the day. Sylvia's mother, all up the Icelandic horse, which I can't pronounce really well.
Who's your cadger,
Yeah, into Usain Bolt. So what have we got there? Like 250 by 350 by $4. There you go. There's the roughie of the
My
day.
best
Play
roughie,
of the day.
heavy each way, race 8, number 11, winner. Scooty.
I think best bet of the day is I'm telling you, D-Day. There's just nothing else in the race. I think that's $6. Like, if the robots get a hold of that, I can see it be $4.20. I think the best value of the day is Farlingay in race 3, the Godolphin thing. I'll say All Gans is the best lay. I just think it's a non-winner, and I'm happy to take Dicko's beer money all the time.
Okay.
Alright guys, that's been us. We're going to come back for part 2.
Well,
No,
we'll just
do
do
it
the questions now.
35 minutes is
Yeah,
perfect time.
we've got.
There's only one question we have to answer. Don Ross has asked, should the tab/corps have to disclose the market percentage for all markets? We're
just going to argue.
All customers.
No.
Look, in terms of displaying the market percentages, it doesn't matter. Because if you're doing your form properly, one, you should be able to work out the percentages yourself. Like you run it through in your head.
Don't agree at all.
If you can't work out the percentages of the market and you call yourself a punter, you want to have a good hard look at yourself in a mirror. But the key to this is it's not the percentages. It's not the percentages the corporates are betting. It's your ability to get on, and the fact that all the corporates are betting the same odds. There's no independent markets going up. Like one goes up, they scrape the odds off the other.
Yeah,
It's a big problem.
And then you've got to get on.
There's value in betting early now, because as soon as everyone starts to bet, they all match each other, and then there's no value. They actually are. Like the market might be 120% on a Wednesday afternoon because they're a bit different. The tab and all of them should show percentage because we're trying to grow the sport and explain the sport. It's a very confusing game. Once you get hooked, you'll keep betting. And all the educational tools we can give punters is extremely worthwhile. I couldn't figure out the percentage unless I used puntingform.com.au.
Well, you could.
And I'm confident at the game.
Yeah, there's
I couldn't.
Okay, it's just like saying a stubby of beer is $3,
Yeah.
right? How much does 6 stubbies of beer cost?
No, that's not the point.
$18. You should be able to work it out yourself.
Yeah. But I think there's two different issues in terms of displaying market percentage. For an education tool and to grow the game, every corporate should do that. But there's another thing quickly that I'll try and explain, and hopefully I articulate this well enough. But let's say the market percentages go up and everyone goes up 130% on a Wednesday for Flemington Saturday. What happens is everyone goes up a different price and different opinions, and the top price of all those horses, they might be 115%, which at that time in the market is the best time to bet. Because
and you can't lose, but you get 115%.
Yeah, you get 115%, and the difference between so that might last for 2 or 3 hours once people sort of start to pick off the market and eat the market, and then what happens is the day later, 24 hours later, the market regresses to this 130%. So 15% gets wiped off the board because what the early punters have done, they've eaten up all the synthetic hold, and to understand what synthetic hold means is it's the top price of all the bookmakers across the board. So, it frustrates me when people say, okay, in the last couple of years, the average SP and the average price has gone from, say, 115% and it's blown out to 118%. That's actually, it's not a true reflection of what's happened. The result of the inflation in that percentage is magnified because the synthetic hold, which I was talking about before, what happens is all those differences in opinion, right? People all go out 125 or 130%. Because they've all got different opinions, it brings it back down to 115%, and that's not measured properly, right? Yeah. And then it's when people all adjust and keep the same price and turn the robots on, and then everyone just has the same price out to SP, that's the price that they sort of set. And for a different example, so it looks like you've been into a 130% market because that's the average across the boards. But the real price at that time when you're betting into that market might be 115% because there's different opinions. Yeah. And if you look at a sports bet, right, and there's a line, let's say it's Collingwood versus West Coast last Friday night. If you're taking the line, it's 5.5 points, and it's $1.90 a pick. You're betting 105.1 thereabouts, right? But if the line's say 9.5 to 13.5, you're actually
It
not
varies.
betting into a 105% market.
Yeah.
There's a better edge for the punter, and that's what stimulates wagering and turnover.
Well,
And this is something that a lot of people have forgotten.
Because right now it's attractive to bet early.
Yeah.
But the trick is you've got to be
You
able
can't
to
get
get
on.
on.
You
So
can't get
all
on.
that does is allow small, smart, articulate, like really crafty punters to bet, and the big guys are fucked, which
Yeah.
is turnover, which is funding, which is long-term sustainability.
Yeah, do you want to go back to the on course? Like, I'll sit there, if we've got a $1.80 favourite in the race and I want to lay it, like, more than half my book's going to come out of that $1.80 favourite. Now, if I want to get up it, why would I have the $7 shot $7? Because I've marked the $1.80 shot at $2.50. I can lay that horse at $1.90. I go $1.90. I'm over the market. My board might be $150, but it's my business.
Yeah.
I want to lay one horse, and if someone
Exactly.
says, why are you under the rest? I go, mate, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, and we need multiple people
Yeah.
going, I want to lay this, I want
Yeah,
to
but
lay that.
that's the point. What
Yeah.
Nick's,
That's what we're saying on course.
Saying.
Because on course, might have
Stop.
6 bookmakers with
That's
6
what
different
Nick's saying.
opinions.
That's what Walshy's backing up there. Is that Walshy's board at the races is like the corporates. They're all corporates, say, up on the top there at Caulfield or at Flemington.
Wherever.
So he might be $2 the favourite, where everyone else is $1.80, and then there's a $7 second favourite, and he's $6, and everyone else is $7. There's a couple $7.50, and then there's a $12 horse, and Walshy's $11 because he doesn't win any action. He just wants to lay the favourite. There's a couple others at $12.50, $12,
Yeah.
$12. So that if you go and pick the best odds from each board, you then get down to 115.
Yeah,
105,
yeah. But
105,
at the
because you're
moment,
115
at the
on your board.
moment, the big problem at the moment with POC and everything, it's for 48 hours between Wednesday markets open to then even beyond 9 o'clock. It's when Betfair starts to really hum it. Like say, let's call it midday on a Saturday. There's 48 hours where there's nothing happening. There's no synthetic hold. No one's got an opinion.
There's been-
Everyone's just happy just to
There's
mould
been
in.
some mad dog putting up odds
It's
on
just
Friday
awful.
night, which
It's
has
just
been-
awful.
Yeah, the
So-
whole thing about the percentage though, it all comes back to if you mark something $8 and it's $12, you back it. That's your percentage. Just because the market percentage is 130, that may not be the real percentage. So and the biggest problem is getting on, as was just highlighted, and the fact that the corporates have one opinion that
The
fits 15
robot,
or
the
a robot.
robot scrapers.
So they don't have the
It's no good.
independent opinion where one bloke gets in and goes, oh bugger it, my bonus is if I win X amount, I'm going to get right up this favourite. And that's what they should be doing. That gives the punters, a bit of us versus them mentality and away you go. And that's what we've still got on course, thank God, because it drags a few back. So, yeah,